All right. The next attitude I want to talk about is the attitude of cooperation. The attitude of cooperation is a very powerful attitude as well because it doesn't just look at self. It looks at the things going on around you, but at the same time, it really pushes the individual to do things that the individual may not normally do if the attitude of cooperation isn't there. So here's an example. The attitude of cooperation, we talk about impacts. With excellence, we had discipline, diligence, dignity, and determination. With cooperation, we'll see these things evident: confidence, assertiveness, initiative, and teamwork. So here's what I mean by that. When you look at someone who is operating with an attitude of cooperation and you hear them talk about confidence, what it doesn't sound like is arrogance. You don't hear someone who says, I'm going to do this my way and I really don't care what you think about it. What you see is someone who says, I know that I can do this and I can do it well. Because the attitude of cooperation wants to do for the sake of the team, for the sake of the overall good. And again, remember when we talk about these attitudes, they impact the workplace. They impact the family. They impact schools and friend relationships. And overall, they impact the community. So a person who operates in confidence, and you can see that either way, whether it's the boldness that moves them forward in what they do, that they're confident about their job, or in confidence that says, you can trust me with what you tell me. Either one of those confidences is going to be a part of this cooperation. I read a book several years ago, probably one of the best books I've read in the way of looking at integrating home relationships in the workplace. The book was called the book was called Daddy at Work. And it used a very unusual illustration, and I can't remember the author or I would quote it, but this is straight from the book. It talked about how, if dad was at home and his toddler broke a dish or something, and mom came home and was really upset about the fact that this dish was broken. Now, what some people would do, and I would consider it a sign of immaturity, some people would say, oh, the toddler did it. Oh, just look at the toddler. No, I didn't have anything to do with that. And at the same time would look at the mom and say, well, how can you possibly be upset about that? It's just the toddler. You might even look at the toddler and go, mom's going to be really mad about that. How dare you break your mom's stuff? So the philosophy that this book espoused, and I thought it was a great one, possesses confidence from both sides. Both, I have the strength to do this and I can do it well, and you can trust me with your deepest, darkest secrets or your greatest needs or your greatest passions or whatever. And it was a process called protecting up and protecting down. In that, dad wouldn't say to mom, hey, the toddler did it and you should get on to him. Wouldn't say to the toddler, hey, your mom's going to be ticked off at you. You need to run and hide. But instead would say, hey, honey, I'm sorry the dish got broken. I wasn't paying any attention. And take responsibility rather than casting blame. Would stand up for the circumstances around them and say, hey, this one's on me. I could have prevented that and I didn't. I'm sorry. And at the same time would protect down to say to the child, hey, mom's got a right to be upset about this, but, it really is my fault and I should have done this. And why don't you and I go together perhaps to the store and we'll buy another one like it. And so in the workplace, we have to have that same kind of thing. I'm sure we've all encountered the supervisor that when the big boss came in and said, I need these reports done and I need them all done by the end of the day Friday. Well, the end of the day Friday rolls around and, somebody was sick or took the day off or took longer break than they were supposed to or had a difficulty with their computer or whatever. And the reports are not quite done yet. And it doesn't look like, unless somebody stays overtime, that they're going to get done by the end of the day Friday, ready to turn in on Monday. So the big boss comes down and says, hey, where are my reports? And the middle supervisor says, well, so-and-so's been over there taking 3 coffee breaks today. They've been, playing with their computer or got some kind of excuse that it's been down all day. And, you're going to have to talk to them. Okay, that's not protecting down. There's no confidence in the manager taking that role that they either A, can lead, or B, get the motivation into their employees to get the work done that needs to be. So they're losing the confidence of both their employee and the manager. On the other hand, if they turn to the employee and go, listen, the boss is going to be really, really mad at you for not getting this stuff done. And I know he's a jerk sometimes and really just expects stuff out of us that is just absolutely unreasonable. And I don't know why he thought we could get this done by Friday. It's just crazy. It's not your fault, but this is not going to work. And, honestly, if it doesn't work, I'm sorry, but you're probably going to lose your job over it. Okay, that's not protecting up or protecting down. When we operate with a sense of cooperation, with an attitude of cooperation, one of the first things we do is stand our ground in confidence that says, as a leader, I'm responsible for everything I have influence over. If I can influence the boss to give us a little more time, that's what I'm going to try to do. If I can influence the boss to put the buck on me because I know I can absorb this and do a better job on the next task, and at the same time protect an employee's reputation and integrity and position, then that's what I'm going to do. So the attitude of cooperation operates with confidence on both sides. Next, assertiveness. And by assertiveness, I do not mean that arrogant, egotistic, I'm going to push you around, I'm going to beat you over the head. But it does have that assertiveness that when the boss comes and says, hey, it's 3 o'clock Friday afternoon and I don't have those reports on my desk yet. The attitude of cooperation has that sensibility to say, you said by the end of the day. Now, if you need them by 5 o'clock Friday or you need them by 4 o'clock Friday, it would be nice to know that. But the way I understood that was that you needed them by the time you walked in the door Monday. And that we will have done. If we have to stay late today off the clock to get it done, we'll get it done. I told you it'd be done by the end of the day Friday. It will be done before we leave here. That's the assertiveness that works within cooperation that says we will get the tasks done, we will reach the goal, we'll achieve that success marker, whatever it is, that win, without giving up. Before we get to the end, we're going to reach that point. And that's a very powerful tool because some people don't take that. They'll back off, they'll run away, they'll give up, they don't protect up, they don't protect down, they don't stand their ground, and so they just lose and they become a pushover. Well, when you operate with both excellence and cooperation, and you say, you know what, the very tiniest detail matters, we don't want to rush this and not give you a project that's done absolutely right, but we will absolutely get it to you on time. That's a whole different ballgame. That's the kind of person that not only does every leader want to have leading around them, but every employee wants to work for. The next one, initiative. The attitude of cooperation also possesses initiative. It's that whole approach to a project that says, I'm not going to wait for you to give me another set of instructions. I know what needs to be done here, and I'm going to take a risk, and I'm going to take a bold step forward. I'm going to assert myself with confidence and say, I believe I have a way that we can get this done. And I'm going to begin this process, even at the risk of trying it and failing, or even at the risk of trying it and it not being the same way you would have done it. But I am going to get it done, and I'm going to get you the right results in the time that you need it. And finally, cooperation obviously requires teamwork. And by that I mean it's a matter of knowing what your role is on the team, whether it's to lead the team or it's to handle one aspect of a job or a task and let someone else handle the other part of it. Is it to wait for them to finish their process before you start your process? Or is it to finish your process before you hand it off? When we know our roles, as Jim Collins said, I thought it was brilliant in Good to Great. Jim Collins said, it's not just a matter of getting everybody on the bus, but getting them in the right seat on the bus. It's great that we're all moving in the same direction, but if we all have different roles and we're not living up to that role to the best of our ability, then we're going to find some problems as we go down the road. So here are some indicative phrases to know that you're operating with the attitude of cooperation fully in place. Absolutely. We will have it to you on time and under budget. Here's another one you might hear if you're seeing the attitude of cooperation. The right customer is always right. And sometimes even the wrong customer is right. Operate not only with the attitude of excellence, but with the attitude of cooperation, and you will see an excellent team doing excellent work with excellent results.